Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Nice to be here. I feel pretty good today. You know why I feel good? Because I have the body that I want. And that's a thing people really covet. It's a hard thing to achieve, and I did. And I'm going to tell you how to have exactly the body that you want. You just have to want a shitty body. That's all it is. You have to want your own shitty, ugly, disgusting body. I don't, though, like being uncomfortable and unhealthy. And I'm both of those things all the time. I get really sweaty all the time. And that's also bad for sex because I just rain sweat all over people. Like I'm like, ugh. And that's what I'm like when I have sex, like, ugh. And I always see her, and she's like, just sweat is pouring off my head. And she's like, dude, you're limiting my enjoyment by a lot. My days start poorly because of the shape I'm in. Because now also I'm 42, so I'm really on the decline. There's never gonna be another year of my life that was better than the year before. That's never gonna happen again. I've seen my best years. And when I wake up in the morning, I just sit there and I'm like, oh, like it's an awful way to start your day. Every day starts with me like my eyes open and I reload the program of misery. I just open my eyes, remember who I am, what I'm like, and I go, oh. I guess, do it. I don't know. I guess. Oh my God. Somebody called me an Indian giver recently. I don't know if you've heard that expression since you were kids, but I remember we used to call each other. Indian giver is one of the most offensive things you could ever, because what it's meant to be is that someone gave you something and then they changed their minds. That makes you an Indian giver. And we equate this to the Indians because our feeling is that they gave us America and then they didn't take it back certainly, but they changed their minds about giving it to us. And it's so offensive when you consider the truth, which is that we got here and the Indians were like, hi, and we were like, hey, can we have everything? And they were like, well, we don't know what have means, but enjoy all the things that you need, like we do. So we start killing all of them. And they were like, oh, dude, could you not do that part where you kill all of us? Because that's kind of a drag for us. And we're like, you guys are Indian givers. Oh, my God. We're going to name that after you. You guys are dicks. Anyway, thanks a lot, folks. Good night.
Did no one tell you that tits are meant to be on women, not men? What is that?
Come on, man. This is a nightmare.
Oh, dear. Okay. Take a deep breath and hold it. So how do you feel, really? Apart from the tumour I can hear in your lungs.
Out here. Okay, what does this guy want? Steve from New York City, what do you want?
Hey, Louie. I'm about 15 blocks away right now. I work in radio. I'm not doing anything tonight, so if you want a co-host or somebody to find some material for you, I'd be happy to do it.
I think that's very generous of you, but I'd rather shit in a hat and wear it for the rest of my life. Thanks, Steve. 3-year-old terror, what do I do? Okay, hey, guy in New York City, you got a kid and she's a terror? He?
Yeah, her name's Alexandra. She drives a wedge between me and my wife. I love her to death. She's a great kid, but she just freaks out constantly and screams until you give in, and I just fight with her constantly.
What makes you, like, what do you give in? Like, give me an example of you giving in.
An example, I'll say, don't do that or I'm going to take that away.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll do it, I'll take it, and then my wife will say, don't do that, you're torturing her, and I'll give it back to her like a chump.
Have you ever talked to your wife about this?
Yeah, she's just stubborn. My wife is thick.
But here's the thing. Just try this. And I don't care if this is boring for listeners because this is important for you to know. Take your wife aside later. Don't fucking, because I know what happens. She says, give it to her, and you turn to your wife and say, what the fuck did you do that for? And she says, well, you're torturing the kid. And the kid goes, nah. And then you just leave the room and go drink a beer and shit in your own mouth for the rest of your life, right?
Well, basically.
So try this, man. Just next time you're sitting with your wife watching fucking Dancing with the Cunts or whatever it is, just turn to her and say, can I talk to you for a second? And she'll go, what? And say, don't say what like that. Just listen. Maybe I have something to say. And turn off the TV. And say,
okay.
Listen, when I try to discipline the kid or try to bring consequences to her for what she does, please don't undercut me. Can you see how that's a drag? And your wife's going to argue with you. But,
oh, yeah, it's happened numerous times.
Yeah, but don't do it in the heat of the moment. You got to do it at a time where you're not fighting, when everything's cool. You got to bring it up out of nowhere when everything's okay and establish a fucking... You know, here's the thing. Being a parent, it's like being at war. And the way that we do it, it's as if we were a platoon in the army that didn't even, like, kneel down and draw some pictures in the sand with a rock and here, you go here and you go there. You know, like if you're a platoon, you're going to take a building or something full of brown people that you want to kill. You have to draw a picture of the building in the sand. And you say, you go here, and Johnson, you go here, and all that kind of thing, right?
Right.
Otherwise, it would just be like, let's just go get the building. And then people are shooting at you, and you're going, you fucking idiot, go over there, and yelling at each other. That's what parents do. So you need to actually set some time aside and decide, when I say, stop that or I'll take that away, you've got to fucking back me up. And if she has a better plan, let her come up with it.
Right, no, of course.
And if your kid is declining in behavior instead of getting better, then one of you is fucking wrong. So you got to work that shit out. But never back down. Never. Once you tell your daughter this is going to be the consequence, and explain to your kid too, these are consequences. This is what happens when. Don't just say no, you can't have it because I said so. You got to explain to her, I told you not to do that. You're still doing it. This is the consequences that you lose this thing, you little motherfucker. Okay?
All right, Louie. Thanks for the advice.
Everybody has a competition in their brain of good thoughts and bad thoughts. Hopefully the good thoughts win. For me, I always have both. I have like the thing I believe, the good thing. That's the thing I believe. And then there's this thing. And I don't believe it, but it is there. It's always this thing and then this thing. It's become a category in my brain that I call, of course, but maybe. I'll give you an example. Okay, like of course, children who have nut allergies need to be protected. Of course. We have to segregate their food from nuts. Have their medication available at all times. And anybody who manufactures or serves food needs to be aware of deadly nut allergies. Of course. But maybe, if touching a nut kills you, you're supposed to die. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Jesus. I have a nephew who has that. I'd be devastated if something happened to him. But maybe, if we all just do this for 1 year, we're done with nut allergies forever. No, of course not. Of course, if you're fighting for your country and you get shot or hurt, it's a terrible tragedy. Of course. Of course. But maybe if you pick up a gun and go to another country and you get shot, it's not that weird. Maybe if you get shot by the dude you were just shooting at, it's a tiny bit your fault. Of course, slavery is the worst thing that ever happened. Listen, you all clapped for dead kids with the nuts. For kids dying from nuts, you applauded. So you're in this with me now. Do you understand? You don't get to cherry pick. Those kids did nothing to you. Of course, slavery is the worst thing that ever happened. Of course it is. Every time it's happened. Black people in America, Jews in Egypt, every time a whole race of people has been enslaved, it's a terrible, horrible thing. Of course. But maybe every incredible human achievement in history was done with slaves. Every single thing where you go, how did they build those pyramids? They just threw human death and suffering at them until they were finished. How did we traverse the nation with a railroad so quickly? We just threw Chinese people in caves and blew them up and didn't give a shit what happened to them. There's no end to what you can do when you don't give a fuck about particular people. You can do anything. That's where human greatness comes from, is that we're shitty people, that we fuck others over. Even today, how do we have this amazing microtechnology? Because the factory where they're making these, they jump off the fucking roof because it's a nightmare in there. You really have a choice. You can have candles and horses and be a little kinder to each other, or let someone suffer immeasurably far away just so you can leave a mean comment on YouTube while you're taking a shit.
But I'm really glad you're here. This is a sizable crowd. This is a big place. There's about 2,500 people here. And that's a lot of people. That's enough people to be like a sample of the population. 2,500 people is enough people that you're all going to experience a lot. There's enough people here to say that within 2 months, at least one of you will die. I'm just saying, I think it's probably accurate to say that out of any random group of 2,500 people, not all of you are going to make it to Christmas. Unfortunately, there's going to be at least one of you here tonight is going to ruin your family's Christmas by dying a shitty death. And I don't know who it is, I'm sorry. I don't know, your death is whatever. Some people, they want you to do things when they die with their, like, I want you to take my ashes and sprinkle. Fuck you, I'm not doing none of that shit. You're dead. I'm not gonna run errands for you after you're dead. You don't matter anymore. Some people try to do something, noble with their bodies. They try to have their bodies have some use after they're dead, which I think is a good thought. You're only borrowing your body. You're only borrowing everything. If your body's worth anything when you're done with it, you should pass it on. That's something I really believe. I mean, I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to. Ew, it's mine. I have a lot of beliefs, and I live by none of them. That's just the way I am. They're just my beliefs. I just like believing them. I like that part. They're my little believies. They make me feel good about who I am. But if they get in the way of a thing I want, or I want to jack off or something, I fucking do that. But some people take their body. My grandmother, she, just for the layman, my grandmother, she gave her body to a medical school. So for it to just be examined and dissected, which is a good thought for that, but they're her survivors, or her family. That was a person. That was my grandmother. She used to wear glasses and say things. And now she's just shaved head on a metal table with a hungover medical student trying to dig out her pancreas, and he gets an F. Imagine being the body where the kid got an F on you. The teacher's like, no, you idiot. And he writes F on her tit with a Sharpie and just throws her down a chute on a pile of F body. So, I don't care about her. Shut up, idiot. Just shut your fucking mouth. Did you hear me before? Okay, so what am I going to do with my body? I'm going to die, and I got to tell people what to do with my remains. And I have an idea for something to do with my body, or for other people to do with it, that will do good in the world. And it doesn't exist yet as like an institution, but I'm going to create it, starting with my body. And what it is, it's a place where you can go and be with a dead body, and you just do whatever you want. And the point of this is that there are people out there who have sexual compulsions and they can't control them, and so they go and they bother alive people. And this, you get it out of your system. This is the deal. You go in the room, there's nobody else with you, you got 90 minutes, you just do whatever you want. Whatever it is. Shit in my mouth, you want to stick my toe in your pussy, piss on my face, whatever is the thing you got to do. Jack off with the cartilage of my ear, whatever is your heart's desire. I want to be the Willy Wonka for perverts. You can come on my back and pretend that I'm your father. I am dead, I don't mind.
We're a family. We have a kid. That changes everything. That's the whole thing. The kid is everything. Marriage is nothing. Without a kid, marriage is dating. It doesn't mean shit. And you don't realize it until you have a kid. Here's what happens. When you get married, you go, holy shit, I can't leave now. I mean, I wasn't thinking of leaving, but now I really can't leave. Then you have a kid and you go, holy shit, I could have left. I totally could have left. Fucking door was right there. Now I can't go. I got a kid now. I've been divorced for 5 years, and it's been the best part of my life, being divorced. Easily my favorite part of my life. I love being divorced. Every year has been better than the last. And this is the only time I can say that about. And by the way, I'm not saying don't get married. If you meet somebody, fall in love and get married, and then get divorced, because that's the best part. It's the best part. Marriage is just like a larva stage for true happiness, which is divorce, because you just let go and everything's fine now. Divorce is forever. It really actually is. Marriage is for how long you can hack it. But divorce just gets stronger like a piece of oak. Nobody ever says, oh, my divorce is falling apart, it's over, I can't take it. And again, if you're in a good marriage, stay in it. If you're in the best marriage ever, stay in it. I'm just saying, if you got out, it would be better. That's just a fact. I'm sorry, but it's true. Everything's better. My ex-wife and I, this is the best part of our knowing each other. We're good co-parents because we live apart and we're friends. Our kids go to her half the week, they come to me half the week. And I'm a good father. I'm an attentive, focused, and responsible father. Do you know why? Because I get to say goodbye to these kids every week. Are you shitting me? It's like every parent's fantasy. Who can't be a good father for half of every week? No matter how bad it gets, every Wednesday I get to go, goodbye, girls. Daddy's gonna go upstairs and pour whiskey all over his naked body right now. I'm gonna lay in my own filth until 2 seconds before you come back here. That's why I'm such a good dad. I have this friend, he has a phone that can IM, he can instant message, and so now I really want him to die because I'm sick of getting these fucking messages from him on his phone. I'm in a shoe store. That's the whole message. We're not secret agents. I don't need to know where you are. So I get this message from him. He says, I'm on an airplane in Seattle. So I wrote back and I said, well, I hope your plane crashes. And he gets pissed off and he calls me, take it back, we're about to take off. I'm like, fuck you, I hope it crashes. I don't have to take it back. Hope it crashes twice. Hope it crashes and kills Haffy and they go, fuck it, let's try again, and they take off and crash again. I hope that happens. Sincerely, I hope it. And he tries to he goes, well, how are you going to feel now if my plane crashes after you went and said that? I'm like, are you shitting me? That would be amazing. to know that I can do that? I'd happily trade your life for knowledge of my powers. He's one of those guys who just makes you hate him because, you know when you have a friend that you hate, you can't break up with your friends, you know? He always starts conversations that I don't want to have. You know, he's like, hey, what would you do if you had a time machine? I'm like, fuck you. I don't... You know what? I wouldn't use it. I just let it sit in my house. I'd put a drink on it. And yeah, I got a time machine. I never even wanted it. I don't know. I'm not interested. I'd use it to go back 30 minutes ago and punch you in the fucking face before you asked me that. That's all. One use. So he goes, well, here's what I would do. Because of course that's the whole fucking point of asking me, is to stare at me while I say mine and then say his. So he said if he had a time machine, he would kill Hitler. Like he would go back and kill Hitler. I love that he thinks he can just kill Hitler just because he just goes back there and walk up and kill the dude. And I was thinking, that's a noble purpose for a time machine. I would do that, but I would have gone back then, but I wouldn't have killed Hitler. I would have raped him. That's what I thought. Because I think that would have been enough. I think that would have stopped him from doing all that shit. If he had been raped by me, he never would have pulled any of that stuff, man. Should we invade Poland? No, I'll just take a shower. I don't feel good. He would have... Low self-esteem and, you know... I'm not condoning rape, obviously. You should never rape anyone. Unless you have a reason, like you want to fuck somebody and they won't let you, in which case, what other option do you have? How else are you supposed to have an orgasm in their body if you don't rape them? I mean, what the fuck?
I'm so sick of being broke. I'm broke. I'm just always just keep digging this hole. And most people are broke too. That's the thing. This country's just everybody's broke. That's why I don't like George Bush, but I didn't like Kerry either, because they're fucking both rich and they don't get it. They don't know what it's like to be poor. Like, poor people know what it's like to be rich. They know exactly what it's like because they fantasize about it constantly. Every poor person has their whole rich life all planned out. Every detail. I'm going to have a house made of chocolate, and people are going to blow me as I walk in each room. They're going to be waiting. I'm going to wipe my ass with live rabbits and throw them out the window. Got it all worked out. But rich people don't fantasize about being poor. Why the fuck would they do that? I'll have to take the bus everywhere. Yeah!
You're doing a benefit tomorrow at Caroline's.
Caroline's, yeah.
For
New York.
For PlayStation 3? That's crazy.
It's my daughter's school, public school 3.
What the hell is wrong
You're
with
giving back.
What's wrong with your kid's school?
All the money's going away.
Really?
Yeah. No, the city's cutting all the budgets.
Oh, that's true.
Wow, that's a nice thing of you.
Well, it's my kid's school.
Jesus.
I
All
would-
right, it was a little selfish.
If I had no child in the school, I would throw rocks at it.
Yeah.
just to be mean because it's funny. I couldn't care less about someone
All
else's
right.
stupid, ugly child and his education.
See their awful drawings knocked out of the window?
Yeah, exactly. No, and I've earmarked the money for just my daughter's care. No other child is allowed to access a penny of it.
She has a brand new computer. They're eating dust mites.
Yeah, exactly. She's being taught by a Harvard professor, just one-on-one in the classroom.
Hey, do you go to, like, your daughter's stuff at school, like recitals and...
Well, it's not, you don't go to enjoy the show. I mean, it's really narcissistic, stupid parents that shouldn't have had kids.
Yeah.
That hope their kids are good at something.
Good.
That's not why you go. You don't go because you're like, oh, my kid has maybe gifted at singing. No, your kid stinks.
Welcome.
But you're making your kid feel good by going. That's why you go.
Yeah, that's why you go, so they could look out and go, where?
If it's not your kid, you shouldn't bring other grown-ups and make them go because it's a support thing. It's not.
No.
It's not for the. But I go with my daughter on trips with the school.
Oh, the field trip?
Oh, okay.
On field trips, I'll chaperone. Mm-hmm. And I go sometimes and I volunteer for lunch recess. Because that's a mess. There's nobody there doing it.
Right.
So the
Recess,
kids don't get to. They get 10 minutes to eat and 20 minutes to play, and that's it. They're back.
Every day.
It's too crowded.
Back into their cells.
Yeah, it really is like a prison cafeteria. But I went on a trip once to the Botanical Gardens in the Bronx with my kids.
More fest.
Yeah.
Holy plants.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy plants.
That's going to hold a
Chairs.
bunch of first graders' attention.
Yeah.
But so we go up there and we're on a school bus. And it kind of gave me an insight into how the system works. Because the school bus, I think of it as like it's the school's bus company.
Uh-huh.
These people drive school buses for the school. It's just a bus that the teacher called in, a yellow bus driven by some idiot. I mean, it's like, so we get on the bus and the guy turns to me. I'm the first parent behind him and he goes, do you know how to get there? I'm like,
What?
Yeah, he asked me, do you know how to get there? I'm like, no. And he goes, can you find out how to get there? So we're in the West
Dude,
Village.
I never remember stuff like this when I was
Yeah, so I call up on my phone. I say, just go to the Bronx. We're going to the Bronx. So we're on the West Side Highway, and I call the Bronx Botanical Gardens, and I go, hi, I'm in a school bus full of children on the West Side Highway. I need to know how to get to you. And the lady says, you can't take a school bus on the West Side Highway. That's illegal. And I say this is true story. I say this to the parent next to me, and she goes, yeah, this is not okay. This is really bad.
Oh,
and it occurs to me, I've never seen any large vehicle on the West Side Highway.
No, now that you mention
it. And when it gets up into the Bronx, it's twisty and turny, and it's not okay. And you're forced into a high speed of traffic because it's crazy.
Yeah.
And so we go under an underpass, and I swear to God, we scrape the top of the bus. The whole bus goes grrrr and shakes. And I swear to God, the bus driver yells, "Oh,
Yeah.
Oh crap!"
What you yell when that happens?
Yeah. And then the rest of the underpasses, he kind of ducks his own head down, really, like he kind of crouches.
And so the arch in the middle, it's a little higher.
But we got up there and nobody. I brought waters. I asked the teacher, like, should I get a bunch of bottles of water? And she's like, I guess.
And I thought, well, that's because I'm like over-parenting. No, it's because she just didn't care if people drank water.
Unbelievable.
And nobody brought sunblock. A lot of kids died. It was really, it really was like...
That just sounds like abuse. Yeah, what the hell?
It was a disaster. But you know what? The kids, we packed these kids, these heated, it was like summertime, these sweltering hot kids, unfed, into a little tiny classroom. They take you to these beautiful places, and then pack you into a classroom, and you have to listen to somebody.
Oh,
But
God.
the woman showed them how a seed becomes a plant.
Yeah.
Totally riveted audience.
Oh, really?
Totally
She
fascinated.
was killing.
Yeah, she was killing. I learned a lot.
About how plants grow.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that an apple
Boring.
is food for the seeds inside of it. I thought it.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either, nor do I care now that I do. I hate apples even more now.
But I used to like having my mommy go on there because I was such a mommy boy, crybaby, little wimpy girl. I was. And I used to make her dress up like a whore.
What?
Like, I really used to make her dress up like a whore.
What do you mean you made her dress up?
She worked in, like, nightclubs. She was a go-go dancer and stuff like that. I'd go, like, could you wear those, the knee-high boots and the red
So
patent
weird.
leather mini skirt?
Uh-huh.
And could you put your hair in pigtails? And all the, like, kids would be like, oh, your mom is so pretty. and I felt like good. Like, I felt all good.
Wow.
And we went to go see You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown at Radio City Music Hall. And Mom was a field mother, and she wakes up that morning. We're supposed to leave. And she goes, Anthony, I'm so sick. I'm so sorry. I can't go. I start crying. And she's like, all right, I'll do something. So she's swigging Pepto-Bismol. She was hung over to the point where she's puking. She got a horrible hangover. Now she's got to get on some diesel-y bus, dressed like a slut.
With her daughter's son.
Yeah, with her crying daughter, son, her boy girls. So when she said she couldn't make it, I was just...
Well, most people end up screwed up because they were molested by their parents, but you're screwed up because you molested your
I
parents.
was trying to molest my parents.
It's totally opposite.
Yeah. I was trying to molest my mom at the time, I guess.
Wow.
Dressing her up.
I started going to the trips with my kid because the teacher asked me to, because they'd go to a show, and my daughter can't take a show. She gets really upset.
Why?
Drama. She gets
Really?
really upset.
Where does that come from, you think?
I don't know. She takes things really to heart. She's very sensitive. So
How old?
She's 7 now. But
takes
it's been like that
it-
her whole life. Like when she was 3, I showed her a Charlie Chaplin movie, Hard Times. And she loved watching him fall down. It was fun.
Yeah.
And then there's this scene where him and this other... He's poor in the
Little
movie.
violin music starts...
Yeah, it's really sad. And him and this poor girl...
It's not like he had an expressive face.
No. He and this poor girl break into a department store and start playing husband and wife in the department store. And she says, "Are they married?" And I'm like, "Well, they're pretending they're married." She thinks that's so cool. And then the cops come and they arrest him.
Oh, no.
And she just starts bawling. She was so sad.
I find that hysterical. Kids are stupid.
No, she's so sad for their lives being broken up. He's going to jail. And also, she's also sad for America in the Depression. Like, that's the...
Wow.
Like, she just felt all of that.
That
So,
kid's too perceptive.
yeah, she knows too many things.
Maybe she said her dad didn't bring home some cartoons and instead indulging his own whimsy with a Chaplin film.
That's absolutely right, Jim. The teacher asked me to go to trips because she would always scream and run out of the room when stuff happened on these shows.
People are saying
so
she
I come along.
cried less than me, though.
Yeah. Well, I used to try to talk her out. Like, we went to a show once with these little puppets, and it was a moment that was really a little over the top. Like, they overdid it. Some puppet goes, "Those look like rubies." "Oh, no, it's a dragon's eyes!" And the puppet starts screaming and gets eaten. And my daughter, the scream that she let out with her, like, hands over her ears...
Oh, no.
Is something I'll never forget. I'll never forget
Jesus.
it. It is the most frightening sound it was the sound of somebody being killed.
Really?
And so I dragged her out. And we're outside, just start hitting her. I don't know. I just wasn't thinking. I was just hitting.
Who thought it was okay that a kid could see something like that?
I don't know. I mean, the other kids are like bored because they play, PlayStation.
Yeah.
So they kill hookers. on their TV all day.
So they can handle something like that.
Dragon, right.
Blue's a good father.
I'm all right.
So wait, what happened?
Oh, so I took her outside, and I feel like I felt at the time that my job as a father is to break her of these fears. And I'm saying, look, if you're going to be able to enjoy some things, you got to. This isn't fear. This is about being thrilled. And she goes, but she argued forcibly and just said, no, I don't like being scared. When somebody scares me, I get mad. I don't like it. I don't like when they do something scary without telling you it's going to be scary. And I don't see why anybody would want to feel that way. Like, she made such a case that I was
Right
like,
in the middle of her
I got to respect this, you know?
should have just went,
Yeah. Don't look behind you.
All right, listen, we got to take a quick break. Louis
God,
C.K.
that's something. What a perceptive kid, though.
Yeah.
She's really smart.
I heard that ducks have one hole. I don't know if you know that, but ducks have one hole. And they pee out of it, and they shit out of it. They get in it, and they lay eggs out of it. That has got to be one smelly, dirty hole. That hole has got to be a pretty awful place. I feel a little bad for the man duck, because ducks are monogamous. I don't know if you know that, but ducks stay in their relationships forever. And by the time that duck gets to be 48, her husband must be like, dude, that shit sucks. I hate it. And then he goes and a swan or something. His wife's like, why are you swan for? She's got an asshole. That's why she's got an asshole. Okay, I got a green head. I don't know what that means. Just somehow they got green heads. They deserve more. Speaking of animal type humor that's not totally finished, I have this joke like animals talking to each other type joke that I don't know how to finish it. I know what's funny about it, but I don't know how to finish it. Basically, it's about a lion who goes up to a giraffe, and he says, "Hey, man, did you see that dude?" And the giraffe's like, "What dude?" And he goes, "He's that dude. He lives by the river in a hut." And the giraffe goes, "What does he look like?" And the lion goes, "He looks like this." And the giraffe's like, "Well, I know a dude that lives by the river, but he doesn't look like that." He goes, "No, that's what he looks like." Ah! The giraffe says, I know a guy, but he looks like this. See, the lion just thinks that people look like that. The lion doesn't get that he makes a person look like that by scaring the shit out of him. He just thinks that, hey, that's that dude that's always going, ah! That's what he's like. I was on an airplane, and there was a Hasidic Jewish man trying to put an enormous bag under the seat. It doesn't matter that he was Hasidic, but it's a detail. It's detail. When you try to put enormous bags under seats, folks notice the kind of person you are. They make note. They say some Chinese guy, whatever you are, they're going to describe you. They're not just going to say, a man put a little giant thing under his seat. What kind of man? It's not important. Just a fellow. No, this guy. Trying to shove this thing under the seat. No one can leave because he's not going to not do it. And the flight attendant was a guy, and I'm not going to say he was gay because that's not important. It doesn't enter into the story. I'm going to call the Jewish guy a Jewish guy, and I'm going to call the gay guy just some guy. How do you like that? Isn't that unfair? I'm not going to identify him as gay, because I don't want to discredit them. Actually, he didn't do anything wrong. So, boy, what a disaster this is right now. Jewish guy trying to put the thing under the seat, and the guy's going, "Sir, it's not going to fit." He was only slightly gay, like that. He wasn't like, "Sir, it's not going to fit." Ah! No, he just said, "Sir,
It's not going to fit.
It's going to fit. I know it's going to fit. It's going to fit. I'm telling you, Moses.
Okay, here's the thing. I have 2 children, and the thing that scares me the most is that they disappear. Nothing that scares me more than them disappearing. That's every parent's worst fear. Now, why do kids disappear sometimes? I think it's because somebody took them and had sex with them, and once you have sex with a kid, you got to toss them, because people hate folks who have sex with kids more than pretty much anything. If you murder somebody, folks will find you a reason. You were upset. You were dehydrated, whatever. So here's the thing. So if you have sex with a kid, you got to chuck them out, because if the kid tells anybody, you're screwed. I can't help thinking that if we could take down a few notches the hatred for kid having sex people, at least you get the kid back. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that the guy could just call you, hey, I just kid, you want me to bring him to soccer or drop him at your house? Does he have any nut allergies? Because he just ate some cashew butter. I know, listen to me. I know that's hard to hear. But it's true. It's true that if we minded child molesting less kids would die. That's true. Now, I don't know what to do with that information. I don't have a way to apply that to anything that's helpful. There is some sense that when you're out there looking for somebody, you're trying to spread your seed. Really, guys would like all women to just lay on the ground with their legs open, and we could just spray like a mist. Just mists of cum that then trickle down. But I'm not one of those guys who could just walk up to women and start talking to them. Like, there's guys, there's a lot of sinewy black guys that wear puka beads. Not hard brothers from the hood. With a suede vest with nothing else on. Suede vest, both nipples showing. Good stomach, puka bead necklace. You know, like those bracelets that are like just leather. And I'm getting a little hard just picturing this guy. This guy's sexy. This guy gets laid. You know when somebody sees a hot woman, there's that thing we just call a hot woman. Like, there's a lot of guys who say, how do I talk to the hot girls? Why do you want to talk to a hot girl? Why would you want to talk to somebody with a drink and going, Why would you want to have that conversation? You own a landscaping business. You're incredible. You're an amazing human being. You started a landscaping business from nothing. Her, man. Go find a woman, an old, kind of your age, late 30s, Jewish girl, smokes, and gives tough hand jobs. You know, I love Jewish girls. Because they just go, come on, and they're awesome. I'm gonna suck it, all right? You ready? Totally, suck it, you dirty Jew, I love you. The hardest thing about having kids is just the days that you spend with them. That's really the hardest part. It's just every day that you have them is the hardest part of having kids. It's just every day. It's getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, which, first of all, I'm not that guy. 6 o'clock in the morning. I have blown off entire careers because of one day I didn't want to get out of bed. Like, I'll just not be that then. I have to, first of all, I got to get them dressed. That's number one, because that's the one that people will notice. That's the only one. If that's the only one that I get done, I'll be okay. Because I can't, if I show up with two naked kids, I'll go to jail. So I have to, but I can not feed them. They're fine. I ate. They're just a little tired. It's fine. And then I got to get them to school, which means walking
The older one goes to kindergarten. It's 3rd grade. Jesus Christ! I just said kindergarten. She's in 3rd grade. You know what's even worse? She's not. She's in 2nd grade.
So it'll just be better.
Right.
That's all.
Wow.
I also wanted to stop for a bit.
I gotta also ask, look at the boat. What happened with your boat?
Oh yeah.
That was all of a sudden like,
fucking-
wow, Louis like a tabloid guy. Louis C.K. in his boat,
Just hanging out waiting
the
to
fuck?
be
I
rescued.
got stuck in the mud.
This new Black Crowes album.
It was my first day. Yes, it was my first day in the
Stuck in the
boat.
mud.
I just bought it, and I spent one day on it with some guy who showed me the specifics of the boat. But it's a big fucking boat with 2 engines, and it's really complicated to drive. And I took my girls out on it, and as we were pulling out of the marina, my daughter was like, "How do you know how to do this?"
Oh shit!
And I was like, "It's not that big a deal." Like I was defensive with my 10-year-old. It's not that big a deal. I could do this. And we went around Manhattan, and I got in all this shit I had no qualifications
That's
to
a
deal with.
crazy waterway because
Yes.
the currents,
Especially on the east side.
especially what do they call that
It's
fucking
an estuary.
one?
Don't they
There's
call it Devil's something?
No, it's like something.
All the water.
Hell's
Gate.
Hell's Gate.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
All
Right
the
on
water
the
converges right there.
They should call it
It's
Watergate.
where the rivers kind of split. by
you,
the
Sam.
east.
The Long Island Sound collides with the Harlem River.
Right,
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
It gets a little dicey over
It's
there.
really
Don't
bad.
say the Harlem River around Anthony today.
No.
I'm all right.
A little sensitive.
It's been a renaissance up there. It's
Don't say
fantastic.
muddy
One
river.
moment when we were in that cauldron and we just smashed, like the boat felt like it was coming apart, and my 7-year-old screamed, and her sister held her eyes, like closing them. It was like it was really stressful.
Were you
But then we
panicking?
get, then we
I don't know,
get
is
no.
that
I mean,
crazy
it's
in that
nervy,
river?
but
It was making that smack sound on
Yes.
the water. The bow goes like bam.
it was really bad.
Fucking, it's
where
a
the
bang.
Harlem River meets.
Yeah.
The Long Island Sound.
The Long Island Sound,
it
the East
swirls
River,
in
the
such a
Harlem
way
River.
you've never seen before.
Yeah.
It's crazy
Yeah, it's
to go
all,
through
and
that
it kind
area.
you get whirlpools.
Like up by Yankee
You get all
Stadium?
kinds of like
No,
lumber.
on the east side.
It's
Not
fucking
far
lumber
from Yankee
floating around
Stadium. Not far from there.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, well it is. Yeah,
That is
Yankee
east
Stadium's
side.
on the east side. It's
It's
south
crazy
of there.
to navigate that.
It's
yeah.
just north of Roosevelt Island.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
And are you thinking I just want somebody who knows how to do this here right now with me?
And then we went up to the Harlem River, which is very, it's
awesome.
like glass.
It's
Yeah.
really nice.
And so now we got through it, and we're really happy. And I've got frozen burritos and macaroni and cheese. So we're gonna pull over, throw the anchor, and we're gonna make lunch. And so I find this little cove, this sweet little cove.
Nice.
And
In Harlem?
there's there's people in a park next to it, and it's just a nice place. So I pull in there, and the boat just stops moving all of a sudden, and everything starts beeping because
the
the
depth
boat is
gauge and
the boat is cooled by water that it's sitting in. So now it's just sucking mud up into the this 2-hour-old engines are now packed with mud. And I just shut everything off because I know everything's overheating.
Oh man!
And my daughters go, "What's going on?" And I turned to them and I said, "You need not to ask me any questions for a little while."
Oh shit! Yeah.
And the park ranger calls over to me from the shore, and he says, "You ain't going anywhere. It's low tide. You're going to be stuck there for a long time." And I'm like, no, it's all right. It's all right. I'm trying not to let my daughters hear this. And I call the Coast Guard, whatever, the Channel 16. I'm like, anybody can tow me out of here. And these cops show up on the boat. And they're like 50 yards away, and they're not going to come anywhere near me.
No.
And they said, "Yeah, you're going to have to wait till
Like you're
high tide."
infectious.
Yeah, it's around 1 o'clock, and I'm on the radio with the cops, and they go, "You're going to have to wait till high tide." And I said, "When's that?" And they said, "Maybe midnight tonight."
Oh no!
Both my daughters start crying right away.
Did you stay the whole time, or did you get out?
You can't. There was no way to get out because in a
take, like, a
few
little
minutes
Zodiac?
we were surrounded by mud, and it was like quicksand. Like I put a stick in it, and it just fell into the mud.
Were you embarrassed?
Fucking very.
That's one of the best questions I've ever heard. prepared, quick, salient, succinct.
Oh, man.
I was really embarrassed.
So you were pretty much just like, no more water. Your boat is sitting in muck.
Mud, yeah.
In mud.
Really
And
gross.
you're waiting for the tide to come back in. Were you
Yeah, and
afraid
we-
that it was just going to be stuck in the mud and
I was afraid
not
of that.
come up?
I was afraid. My daughter was like, what if we like keel over? What if we start tipping over? I'm like, that can't happen. And in my head, I'm like, that could totally happen. And the cops said they would go get us food because we couldn't cook any of the food now because it needs a generator to
Throw
run
it
the
to you?
fucking oven.
How would they get it to you?
Well, that was a big deal because they went and got us food. The cops, they bought us a whole chicken and some rice.
Nice.
Really
Oh,
nice
nice.
guys. Then they come back and now there's a huge expanse of mud between us and them.
the food.
And they go, we don't know how you're going to get this. They put it in a garbage bag. And I start throwing a line to them, but it's not making it.
course
All these
not.
people on the shore, everybody knows who I am now.
Oh, no.
So there's people in the park and the shore who are just on a rail just watching me. And I'm throwing this, I've tied a pot to the rope. And I throw it, and it gets about halfway there, and I'm pull it back, and I'm covered in mud. Because every time the rope comes back, it's totally covered in mud, and I have to get the mud off so it's not heavy. Every time I go to throw it, all the people on the side, half of them are going, "Well, pull it for you, Louie. You can do it." And then when I miss, they go, "Oh man, that dude sucks."
It's like playing left field for the Yankees.
Yeah, it's totally the Yankee Stadium crowd. People booed. People booed.
Wow.
And I couldn't get it. So finally, the cops pulled over a guy who was fishing, and they used his rod to throw me a line.
Cast a line.
They cast a weight over
Oh,
to me.
nice.
So you're able to
I
tie
tied it
that.
to a rope.
Right.
They pulled, and then I had to pull dinner onto the boat. I was so soaked in mud and sweat. Totally.
Then it was chicken mole after that.
That's right.
Had your kids calmed down by that point? a
They
little
were
bit?
great. My kids
Yeah.
were amazing.
Yeah.
Then what happens at midnight?
We waited and waited. Once in a while, like it started raining a little bit, and I heard from the darkness in the park, some kid go, "Hey, Louis, CK, it's raining out now." This is crazy.
Asshole.
But those guys at the marina where I keep the boat, they're really cool guys, and they sent some young guy, and in a boat, and they just dropped him in the water, and he swam to us.
Jesus.
Crazy kid. And he came on board with me and helped me get it out. Once the water came up, we used the bow thruster to shove the boat
Oh, you got a
around.
little bow thruster on there.
Were you feeling it rise as the water's coming? You're like, oh, God,
No, the
this
boat
actually-
wasn't moving because the water was coming up and the boat was just sitting there,
Wow.
stuck in the mud. So that's why we used the bow thrusters or above
Shake
the
it
mud.
loose. Wow.
So we shook the boat around.
Whoa.
And it worked.
And
Now-
at one point, the tide was starting to go down again, and the guy that was
No.
with me said, "It's your call, but we could put it in. We could turn the engines on and put it in reverse and try to get out
Give
of
it a
here."
whirl.
What'd you do?
Yeah, it was like Apollo 13 because everything had been off for a long time,
Yeah,
and now we're
yeah.
like, he says we have 10 seconds of battery. It was all this stuff.
Oh,
Yes.
shit.
So we fired up and just put it in reverse, and mud just. It
Yeah.
was crazy.
We don't have enough lems to get Louis out of the mud.
Any damage to the boat?
It's pride.
Propeller was My
Little damage.
propeller was bent a little.
2 hours.
But now
Boat
the
was 2
hurricane
hours old.
threw my boat into a street somewhere.
Are you serious?
The hurricane fucking totaled your boat.
I don't know. They said nobody. I was
They
at
haven't
the
found
marina
it
where
yet?
they had it. They said all boats came off their blocks because the surge came up under the boats.
Fucking Captain Louis.
And they said
Jesus.
all boats were damaged.
I think God is telling you not to have a boat, Lo.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to find another hobby.
What are you
You
going to
gotta
do next?
find
Go
another
around
hobby.
Somalia? Jesus.
Now, Lou, didn't you have a depth gauge indicator where that would go like
Yeah.
meh when you get in shallow water?
Yeah, the mud happens so suddenly. You have to know the waters, and you need
Yeah,
to look
yeah.
at your charts.
Right,
You can't
the
just look at the
charts.
depth finder.
And the tributaries. You have to know them as well.
The
There's a
depth
few
finder
eddies.
tells you what the depth is directly
Under your boat, right?
Yeah.
So
It doesn't
you can
tell you
just,
what's coming.
You'll just go up on it, and then it'll.
If he knew it was
That's
coming,
right.
he wouldn't be near Harlem. You were just going out there trying to catch Walter, and you and Billy hit the rock on Golden Pond. Where fucking Katharine Hepburn comes out with her fucking head boogieing.
Oh my God! Wow, that is fucked up, Louis.
It was a funny
Jesus.
day. Well, my girls went through this whole thing with me.
as we came into we went down the Hudson River to go home at midnight. And I said to my daughter, we have to come back out on the boat so you can have a positive experience. And she said, we just did have a positive experience.
Oh, that's nice. Plus, they got to stay up late.
Yeah. Well, they don't like staying up late. They're 10 and 7.
Yeah.
They just want to go to sleep.
Is there a downstairs on the
I got a
boat?
10-year-old. He's like stares at the TV all night.
Does he?
Yeah,
Well,
he's a boy. Yeah, I can't stop doing Colin.
Yeah.
Stares at
Thank you very much. Wow. Thank you. That is very okay. That's very nice. I hope somebody does that for you someday. It's a very nice thing. I hope you had a good day. That's about all I could do about it is hope. I had a pretty good day. I went out shopping for some things I needed, and now I don't need them because I got them. I got a white noise machine. Do you know what those are, a white noise machine? That's a machine that helps white people sleep at night. Because you shouldn't be able to. I'm hungry. I'm a little hungry. I mean, I feel hungry. I think that's what... Americans shouldn't say I'm hungry. They should say I feel hungry. If you ate today, you shouldn't say I'm hungry. Hunger's a real thing. I don't have third world hunger. I have first world hunger. I would like a donut. Some people say I'm starving. That's offensive. I am starving. I haven't eaten since 2. I'm starving. Don't say that. Because some people are starving. And they don't say it. You never see a little kid in Africa with his ribs showing. He's like, I am starving right now. I'm like literally starving to death. It's like annoying. I had 2 kids. I went to my daughter's play the other day. I don't know if you have kids, but there is no more joyful feeling in the human experience than when a child's play is over. It's just, nothing feels that good when you can say, I am not watching that any longer. Every second my daughter's on stage, I can't breathe because I'm so proud of her, but this is a bad show. They worked really hard and it didn't make it good. I'm glad I'm raising girls though, because boys are. I don't like boys. I don't like. That's probably a good thing to say. I don't like boys. I don't think women are better than men, but I do think that men are worse than women. You know, we just have. Like, I was talking to my friend, and he said his girlfriend's mad at him. I said, "What happened?" He goes, "Well, I guess I said something, and then she got her feelings hurt." Such a weird way to phrase it. She got her feelings hurt. I said something, and then she... Could you more remove yourself from responsibility? She got her feelings hurt. It's like saying, yeah, I shot this guy in the face, and then I guess he got himself murdered. I don't know what happened. I just shot... He leaned into it. I didn't know. I've never been murdered. I'm gonna die someday. I accept that. I don't know what happens afterwards. Some people say you go to heaven. I'm totally going to heaven. I'm going to heaven. By the way, this is the only voice I know how to do. I'm totally going to heaven. It's the only voice I have. I can't like do impressions. Like this is my impression of the president. I'm the first black president. I'm like literally the first black president. I don't know, do you guys think there's a heaven? If you believe you're going to heaven, clap if you think you're going to heaven. You think you're going to heaven?
Yes.
Really? How old are you?
21.
21, and you're a lock for heaven already. You're already got. Been a grown-up for 3 years. You couldn't possibly make a mistake. Well, good luck. Personally, I don't think there's a heaven. I think maybe there's a God, but there's no heaven. I think that's the best news you're going to get. You die, and you're like, hey, God. And he's like, yep. And you're like, where's heaven? And he's like, I don't know who's telling people that. But I'm supposed to make a universe and then another whole amazing place for afterwards? You guys are greedy dicks down there. Well, where do I go? Just stand in this room with me now. I don't like it. Tell me about it. I've been here since 1983. Or whenever. I don't know when God started, but... I'm not religious. I don't know if there's a God. That's all I can say, honestly, is I don't know. Some people think that they know that there isn't. That's a weird thing to think you can know. Yeah, there's no God. Are you sure? Yeah, no, there's no God. How do you know? Because I didn't see him. How do you... There's a vast universe you can see for about 100 yards when there's not a building in the way. How could you possibly... Did you look everywhere? Did you look in the downstairs bathroom? Where have you looked so far? No, I didn't see him yet. I haven't seen 12 Years a Slave yet. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I'm waiting until it comes on cable. I think if there is a God, I don't know if it's the one in the Bible, because that's a weird story. He's our Father, and we're his children. That's it. Our Father who art in heaven. Where's our mother? What happened to our mom? What did he do to our mom? Something happened. Somewhere in heaven there's a porch with a dead lady under it, and I want this. Somebody's got to check the trunk of God's car for bleach and rope and fibers. Well, how can we not have a mother? At least maybe God's divorced. Maybe he has an ex-wife. God's a single dad, and he's raising us alone, and we're praying like, and he's like, I'm trying, it's just me up here. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe your life is your time. This is our weekend with Dad. That's what life is your weekend. And then when you die, you go to Mom's house. It makes sense that God would be a woman, doesn't it? Because you're raised by your mom. I think the reason we made God a man in our cultures is because we want to make sense of the fact that men are in charge. Because otherwise it doesn't really make any sense. Because women, you start with the woman. It's the thing people like to ask, like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Of course it's the egg. Because you can't just make a chicken. You can't just go chicken. You got to start with an egg and grow a chicken. And then people say, oh, well, where did the egg come from? From a chicken, you idiot. The point is, women birthed us, women raised us, so why aren't they running things? I think I know why. I think it's because millions of years ago, women were in charge, and they were mean, they were horrible. They made us walk around naked, and they'd laugh at you, and they'd flick your penis when you walk by. They were awful. But what could you do? It's your mom and her friends. Like, what could you possibly do about it? And then one guy punched his mom, and we were like, we can hit them! And then we did the whole thing. But that's why men are mean to women today, because we're terrified of them. That's why we didn't give women the vote till 1920. Women didn't get the vote in this country. That means American democracy is 94 years old. There are 3 people in my building older than American democracy. That's how women haven't had a rough time. It was so okay to beat your wife until so recently that today we have a kind of shirt named after it. There's a piece of clothing in our culture affectionately nicknamed after beating the crap out of your wife. And for some reason, this is offensive to nobody. I saw a woman on Good Morning America or something. She's like, I was walking around my house and a wife beater. I'm like, stop saying it like it's not horrible. I'm just wearing a wife beater and child murder shorts. And I'm like, stop it. We have a great show. Sam Smith is here. So stick around. We'll be right back. Yeah. I live in New York City, and it's okay there. I live in a nice building. I never lived in a nice place before. When I was growing up, I had no money. I mean, my mom didn't. Didn't matter. I was a child. But I'm not used to it because it's nice. There's like a pretty courtyard with flowers and a fountain with little marble boys pissing. I don't know. What is it with fountains? Like, all fountain sculptors are pedophiles, basically. You can't get a fountain made without... Can you make me a fountain? Yes, I'll get started right away. Oh, yes! Yes! It's finished! And it's just little boys pissing on the face of a Greek god that looks like him a lot. It's piss on me forever! Anyway, there's one of those in the courtyard of my building. And my first week in the building about a year ago, I went down to the courtyard for the first time. And I didn't look too good, you know? It was a Sunday morning. That's my least presentable hour. There's a lot of, you know, just stains, just like, you know, food and me and whatever. And so I'm sitting there. So, shut up. Oh. Anyway, but so there I was. I'm sitting on the stone bench of this courtyard and feeling a little out of place. You know, there's these fancy doormen and stuff. And then there's this guy looking at me. I notice he's looking at me from across the courtyard. And he's all spiffy looking. He's got brown shoes and he's looking at me like, I could tell he was thinking I don't live in the building. He thinks I just wandered in off the street and sat in the courtyard. I could tell he's thinking of coming over and dealing with me on his own. And I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, please do that. Yes, please, come on. And I'm trying to look even more gross. And I'm like pulling up my shirt. And then I see him go, oh, no, that's not going to do at all. And he comes over to me. And I'm like, I'm so excited to have this thing. The confrontation where I'm not wrong at all. And he thinks I am. So he comes over, says, excuse me, do you live in this building? And I said, no. Because why not start there? I said, no. He goes, well, then what are you doing here? And I said, I just need to rest. I'm having a hard time. He says, this is private property. And I said, well, I don't really believe in that. You know, just the worst things I could say from his point of view is basically all the things I was saying. And he goes, well, if you don't leave, I'm going to talk to the doorman. I was like, can I just stay like 5 more hours? So he's, no, and he goes over to the doorman. And I see him talking about me to the doorman like this. And then I see the doorman going, oh, no, that guy lives here. That's okay. And the look on his face, it was just so, it was this beautiful cocktail of anger and confusion. It's like I had invented a new way to hurt somebody's feelings. That's how excited I was.
A lot of what they teach kids is just to make them polite people, you know? Like they teach them that there's words you shouldn't use. There's bad words. Don't use the bad words. I can't teach my kids that because I do this for a living. But I didn't want my kids to be, you know, assholes. So I used to tell them, like, okay, look, there's no bad words. There's no bad words. All words are good, bad, nothing. But there's some people that get upset when you use certain words. So if you're going to use those words, look at the person first and try to guess if they're that kind of person. Sometimes you can offend somebody when you weren't even trying to. Like there's certain phrases, certain statements that if you're going to say them, you should say them without stopping in the middle. Certain things, if you're going to say them, don't clear your throat in the middle. Okay? You don't want to say things like, there are too many black people suffering from discrimination. We need to stop the Jews from feeling excluded. I once fucked a baby, and then I fucked him again. So you want to get through that one. Otherwise, people get the wrong idea. They'll think you only fucked that baby once. But it's tricky, you know, if you're trying to teach your kids right from wrong, you got to choose a side often because not everybody agrees on what's right and wrong. So how do you know, Like abortion, some people think it's murder, some people don't. I think people should get abortions, like a lot, like as many as you can. You should try to get a lot of abortions.